All right. So, welcome back, everybody. We're at Sword and Board, episode 5 today. Here I have with me, and I'm just meeting this individual now. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please, sir.
So my actual name is Josias Arcadia.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
Jose. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. I'm so bad at butchering
you could
names.
just call me Arcadia. Everybody
Arcadia?
calls me Arcadia. Yeah.
Arcadia, cool. All right. So, I'm here with Arcadia. And, well, if you haven't seen the recent controversy about my ass, right? So I have on the short shorts for this occasion. I've got a lot of recording to do today, so I figured I was like, might as well style out.
My bro, you might need to consider padding that out. I'm just saying.
I know I have no ass, man. I'm actually going to the gym today and recording me working out in this fit. I'm doing another little sword and board after this. It's gonna be
Word.
fucking lit. But
Awesome. Awesome.
so yeah, so we got into it and we're cool. I was cool with everybody. I just I'll talk shit with everybody. It doesn't really hurt my feelings at the end of the day.
I'm kind of similar, if I'm honest, because it's like, look at online spaces. They're kind of toxic. The real places that like discussions actually happen is this kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
or like in person at events, seminars, things like that, right?
110%.
um, because really like what happens, and I will fully lump myself into this too, right, is like we're all performing, right? We're performing for people that are reading it, right? And so we're all just dunking on each other, and it gets
That's a
toxic.
good way of putting it.
I really get sucked into internet fights way more than I should, and I'm totally like way more normal in person, I promise.
Dude,
But
but that is so real of you to admit to that. People
yeah,
don't accept that about themselves a lot of the time, you know what I mean? It's so I mean, as long as you admit to it, shit. That's my thing. It's like if you're gonna be an asshole, own it. Like,
oh yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't gotta be an asshole. If you're gonna do something, just fucking own it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
commit to the
and
bit.
and like the unfortunate reality is those of us that either grew up semi online or like really online, like I think
Sometimes
that
not
kind of
online at all.
you weren't.
No, some people. I was
Oh sure,
definitely. I was
yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. But I think like just uh that kind of messed up our brains collectively. I think a little bit,
I blame COVID.
but
I blame COVID for it. I
I
feel
just
like.
caught it actually a couple weeks ago,
Oh, sorry,
so
dude. I
I'm
thought I
just
did.
now recovering.
I didn't. I ended up getting lucky. I've had migraines though today and
Yeah.
yesterday, so maybe I caught it late. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably
I mean,
not.
it's weird because it's like you got a test after like I think 5 days now is what we're supposed to do, and that's just like so late. Like by then you're definitely you know feeling it. I don't know. To me, COVID feels so much different than a flu. Like it. It's like oh man, I feel real weird, and this doesn't feel like a normal flu. But that's
100,
just me.
110%. So we were
Um,
talking a little bit in the beginning about grappling, and you just came back from jujitsu class, right? You're saying something about you didn't feel like you were rolling like a white belt no more.
Yeah, yeah, like a lot less like a white belt. And the biggest thing is just trying to um, like I don't know what kind of coaches you have for grappling, but like personally, I'm blessed to have some really excellent coaches. My coach Tim is on Instagram as Captain Tim, I think uh, Tim Lung, and the thing that I like about him and that I'm trying more and more to put into my own fencing, right? Into my grappling, into my fencing is just like never, ever changing your own pace, right? Like my coach, he'll roll hard if he has to, right? But he always tries to set the pace and never lets it break. So like you'll watch people, and we have a university here, Minnesota University, sorry, University of Minnesota. Um, and so we'll get their wrestlers in because we're like right next to the college. And so we'll get their wrestlers in every now and again. And you'll see guys just really trying to throw down, and he's just chilling the whole time, right? And that's kind of my goal with my fencing and my grappling is like to just set the pace, and that's it. And historically, the biggest like issue that I've had in fencing and in life is like I tilt so easy, much less easily now that I've like worked on it as like a character trait, um, and been aware of it. But like, man, I used to tilt so easy, just get like upset at the smallest thing, you know.
I
So like
feel
that,
that. I'm hard on myself sometimes.
yeah, exactly.
My thing growing up, so I grew up doing JKD,
Yeah.
right? And then, but really what I loved doing, excuse me, was Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But at the same time that I was in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, my mentor, my instructor, he was teaching Tenshin Shorin Katori Shinto-ryu Yai Jitsu, so Yaido,
Hmm.
and Bastone, which was Italian stick fighting, and he would teach longsword from Fiore. So that
Okay.
was my exposure to swords. I must have been around 10, right? I'm 20 now.
Wow.
Yeah, and jujitsu at the same. I kind of grew up, went through, kind of got to high school, was training on and off, towards the end, but consistency, high school hit, fucking want to be a high schooler and all that shit. Decided to fuck up, dropped out, got into Bohurt. Now I'm here doing this full
Yeah.
time, and it's been hell of a journey. Kind of along the way too, I picked up judo from a really crazy Scottish guy, like fucking nuts. I think he was SAS or he trained SAS
Yeah.
people. Sorry, Sensei, if you're watching this and I've just fucked it all up. Sorry if I don't know your backstory, but dude's a badass, and he was a hard ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got toughened up there in the Warrior Warehouse. That's where we started. That was our first indoor space. Was this beat up ratchet MMA gym. It's got a vibe to it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's honestly, I love the vibe because it gives that place so much atmosphere and like
Sure.
unity and brotherhood and love. Like there was no problems up in that place between people because you were punching each other in the face later about it. You know what I mean? And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Even with
Yeah.
judo, it was like, yeah, we're gonna throw down. No one has a problem. Everyone's super respectful. But
Yep.
kind of how you were talking earlier, being able to set your own pace too. Something I learned a lot kind of through a little bit of kendo practice, a lot of Iaido, was just having that zanshin in a fight, right? Just that awareness of the
Yes.
fight. Um, and being able to set the pace too, you have to have that kind of authority and presence in the fight to really get there, and that's something that comes after a lot of fighting, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You can a lot of clubs. I don't. My club's heavy sparring, right?
Sure.
We're not whacking fuck out of each other really, but we're sparring every class, and I'm about to
Sure.
open up more classes for sparring. We do a healthy mix of side sword and long sword. No,
Yeah.
it's gonna be rapier, side sword, and long sword. Hoping to do a little saber, but most of my
Yeah.
saber is gonna come from like the Charleston Dragoons down here because it's
Okay.
something local to our history, and I do a lot of work with the South Carolina Confederate Relic Room and Military Museum. They're awesome dudes. They run Sword Fest every year, so every sword group in like South Carolina adjacent comes to the middle of Columbia, puts on the big show, and it's beautiful. We have
Nice.
Bohurt, we have lightsabers, we have sword. You got Charleston Dragoons, you've got
Yeah.
fencing. You've got kendo. Uh, you got these fucking aikido dudes with fucking all kinds of crazy kendo weapons.
Yeah. I'm thinking like way too late that I should like give myself a little corny background here, so people have to stare at
Go
my
ahead.
ratchet bed.
I mean,
Let's see here.
can you
Uh,
set up a background? That'd be fucking hilarious. Hold on, let me.
oh, here
Mine's
we go. Here we go.
ratchet
Let's go
too. Fuck.
super kawaii right here. There we go.
Hold on. Can I?
Excellent.
How did you do that?
There's like a little bubble
More.
on the
Oh man. Share screen. Oh, I got basic ass options. Y'all gotta stare at my
No.
ratchet ass shit.
That's
I've
fine.
done all my
So-
shit in here.
It's actually moving too much for me. It's so distracting. So I'm just gonna like be a plant girl.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll get canceled for saying that. I don't care. Anyway.
So I have to ask, what's the HEMA scene look like up where you are? Minnesota, right?
Yeah, so I'm in Minnesota, and a little bit of my background as far as like my actual, fencing. Um, I used to work for and train at a club called Center for Blade Arts like almost 10 years ago now. Um, and they are like the bigger school in my city. I'm in Minneapolis, so I'm in the capital of Minnesota. Or sorry, capital St. Paul next to us. Twin cities kind of
Okay.
stuck together.
Word,
Whatever.
word.
Um, but uh, I just started my club full time about 3 years ago, and uh, the actual state of Minnesota has a lot of clubs for how few practitioners it really has. So my city has the Meyer Fry Fector Guild, St. Paul Fry Fector Guild, my club, Ram's Head Fencing, and then Center for Blade Arts, which also has like kendo, pretty good kendo from what I've seen. And then there's a booher club called the Twin Cities Wyverns that are really cool people.
I think I know those guys. I think I don't know them personally, but I remember when their team kind of popped up. I know. I don't know much about. Is Detroit in Minnesota? Where the fuck is Detroit?
Detroit's one state over.
Oh, okay.
So
in Detroit, they have a Detroit Fight Club and Yaz USA. Shout out Yaz. Shout out Detroit Fight Club. Some cool fucking dudes over there. I love Bohurt guys. I mean, they're a joyful bunch for how violent they truly are. I mean, I miss doing Bohurt. You smash the shit out of each other, go fucking have a beer, smoke a cigarette, whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Well, I started at 16, so I would just hit my little weed vape and my little cyber cig, but.
So there's them. There's so Center for Blade Arts is also an Olympic fencing school, and then there's Twin Cities Fencing Club, which is also an Olympic fencing school, and then up north, about 3 hours north of us in Duluth that's like right on Lake Superior. There's I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting the name of your club, Joe. I think it's
Joe.
So it's run by my buddy Joe Vanner, but he moved up there, and so he's got a club up in Duluth. Anyway, cross train with all of them for the most part. Like, what was I gonna say? We sort of we sort of all get together to make our local regional tournament icebreaker happen. Me and my buddy Paul are from CBA. We're doing a lot of work to try and make that happen together. But it's been taking some like rebuilding because like we had some beef for a while. I'm not going to get into. I'm trying to put it to bed. So we had some beef for a while, and now we're trying to like bring the clubs back together and do that work. And so far it's been pretty good.
Hey man, you know what? Did you watch my new Raleigh Open video?
I did.
Did you watch that end part?
Yeah.
Squash and beef feels good. You might not know that, but
I do.
Squash and beef feels good. It's good at the end of the day.
Squash and beef feels good.
It's good.
The other thing I was going to mention too is we have the main workshop for Arms and Armor here. Well, there's only one workshop, but we got the workshop for Arms and Armor here. We've got Josh Davis, who's like one of the best armorers in the world. So his armor is like really sought after, really, really like top of the line. And then we've got the Oakshot Institute that's attached to all that. So like we get to, handle antique weapons and stuff all the time. And it's kind of a poppin' scene, but like I would say that our club is the one that is really trying to take KDF and only do KDF, right?
We have a lot of schools like that down here for the most part. Like I know Athens School of Arms in Georgia. They're a primarily KDF school. I think I could be fucking wrong, but I know they explore. I think Swordwind mainly played KDF for a while. 13th Scholars. Pretty much everyone around me is playing KDF, but me and the Scala St. George.
Yeah.
So like with South Carolina, we have like a subset of people within our group that can wear our cockade. So it's like the main symbol of our club, and they're they're agents, and essentially so they get the cockade and they wear it, and it's just like a symbol of same thing as it would be back in the day wearing a cockade 1800s. It's like, oh, I align myself with this cause. So you like earn the right to wear that, and we've got agents in every club in South Carolina now. And there's one school that they do KDF, and then the rest of us are Fiore. And the rest of us are like us and the Scala, which is all Fiore. And then the Scala is interesting because there's Scala Charleston, Scala Savannah. There's a Scala like Atlanta, and I think it goes a little further into Florida. I could be really fucking wrong though, but I know Scala Savannah loves the Florida guys, all of them. Definitely the Jacksonville dudes they're real chill. Shout out Wook. I need to get Wook on here, but yeah. So it's a cool little scene down here. It's a mixed bag. It's like South Carolina's a lot of Fiore, and everything's sandwiched in by KDF. We feel like a bunch of fucking outcasts sometimes. We're like, oh, fuck.
So, like, I want to say, like, 4 or 5 years ago, I'd started kind of exploring Armizzare for a little bit because, like, one of the clubs within driving distance is in Chicago, the Chicago Swordplay Guild, and they're, like, the big Armizzare guys. You know, they run WMAW, and they've been doing Fiore and Bolognese stuff for, decades at this point. But so they've got like a big kind of, regional influence. But one of my buddies, Lars Olsen, is like, that's all he does. And for a while he was like kind of coaching me. And for a while I started exploring that for a little bit before I became serious about studying KDF. And he's really good at it. He's actually low key one of the best Fiore Armizzare practitioners out there for like the unarmored stuff, right? He really focuses on the fencing aspect as much as the grappling, because he is also a grappler, right? Like he's trained jiu-jitsu and striking for a few years now. And he's one of the people that, like, when he decides he's going to take my sword away, it's a lot harder for me than most people to keep him from doing it,
So my thing. So you watched my Raleigh last year versus my Raleigh this year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Big difference, right? Even at Queens, they allow grappling. I've been just not doing it because I feel like if your sword fighting is good, you don't have to. You know what I mean? That's kind of always been my theory. Anyways, it's like if you got a grappling, you done fucked up anyway. But sometimes, and I noticed this fighting Rob Mayo. Shout out Rob. I was fighting Rob, man, and I'm like, he keeps fucking doing this number or whatever of his head. I'm like, cover, hug. Like,
sure,
this might be the answer here. So it has its time and its place, and I think you can, if your entries are good and that's what you want to do, you can do it. But that's another level of control,
Yeah,
like having that entry is like 90% of it,
Yeah, one of the other solutions to that too, when people are coming up in high like that to, I'm assuming he's doing an Abnehmen where he's like cutting around your sword and trying to hit you to the other side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so a really fast, quick solution for that, and people don't like to do it because it's harder to get score off of, but slices are super effective against that.
Yeah, I know we call it a satani, but like just a satani up and press the schnitz. The schnitzel? Is that what it is?
I do it a little differently. So one of my friends, Jack Gassman, he's in Ireland right now, but he's a Swiss guy, and he's pretty highly rated, highly ranked. I went to a seminar his recently that had my own coach there, right? So we call it jacking him up. We call it a jack him up.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And basically, when people uh, release any bind pressure, right, when they're going like really soft in the bind, right, they're risking you just pressing in really hard, right, with good structure. And so, like, when people start doing this number, start bringing their arms up or they bring their hands back, they're asking to get collapsed, right? And
Agree.
yeah,
Agree.
and that, so that's kind of more how I do my slice. It's not really so much like you described, like the satani. It's more like you're pulling your sword back, all of a sudden I'm boom, and I'm like just trying to
Oh,
stuff it.
I kind of get what you
Yeah,
mean. So I did a video where we played Kingdom Come Deliverance. We didn't play it, but we looked at
yeah,
my broken phone and we looked at all the plays, all the combos in the game that were based on the
yeah,
plays. We looked at it through someone's game, but their visor was down or some shit. And
yeah,
so the goal was like figure out what the fuck they just did. And I remember the one you kind of get here and you do that snip on the
yeah.
hands, and you can lay pressure on that too. I've actually used that
So
a
you
good
see it in
bit.
kendo. You
Oh
see it in,
yeah, you do in
yeah.
kendo a shit ton.
It's that same thing. You know, you see someone get close here, but then their arms start to bend. You press into that, and with that abnehmen, when people are cutting around, you can see the first thing they're doing is bringing their arms back towards them, and that's that moment.
Yeah, so a lot of
Yeah.
times, I do it with the false edge, kind of what you're talking about. But I'll cut
Mm-hmm.
from like dente up, and someone will be going up, or I'll catch their hands, and I'll keep the
Sure.
pressure up, and essentially apply a constraint to their hands.
Yeah.
That's how I think of it in my head, as far as
Yeah.
terminology. It's that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I love Fiore because I get to tell my students all the time. I'm like, yeah, you can show them mercy if you want. You can sit
Yeah.
here and like just fucking control them, and
Yeah.
they don't have to fight back. It's up to them.
Yeah.
They can
And so
choose to lose.
that's kind of what I have been training a little bit lately, at least with my students, to deal with um, certain like weakening or high bind actions. If you feel that person go soft, you run them in, run them down, constrain it, and slice on the way in.
I've got cheesy high bind actions. I abuse posta frontale dita corona, and I do like a
Sure.
2014 Metazork. So like I'll close in, put it above your head, check you with my chest, cross guards here, whop. This moves their arm offline, and I hit
Yeah.
them in the head. I can hit them here. I can hit them in the arm. It's it's stupid as fuck. It's tarded,
No, it
dude.
works.
It's straight.
I mean,
It's straight tarded, but it works. And they started calling it the fucking bohow, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
my buddy Jack used to do that. My buddy
It's
Jack
beautiful, man. I started
Yeah.
hitting that shit on people, and I start seeing it now here in the southeast. I'm like, fuck. I'm like,
So
y'all
I
all
have,
doing the same shit now.
I have a version you might find interesting, that my coach does and has started teaching me. So my coach is James Riley. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's been in the scene for a long time in the Midwest, and his channel is, I think, Historical Fencing Channel on YouTube. But basically, one of the things that we do is, or that I've been working on lately, right, is when people throw their arms up, tag hands, tag stomach, right, just immediately as their
It's
arms
the
are
first
coming
thing
up,
there.
bop, right.
Yeah, no, it's the first thing there. You might as well take it, right? So I want to ask.
Yeah.
So let's get into the meat of some shit here.
Okay. Let's
So
do
like,
it. Let's go.
I'm wearing short shorts at Raleigh Open,
Yeah.
and everyone's mad, and I get it.
Yeah.
But like, fuck all y'all. No, it was chill. It was kind of funny. I'm getting like absolutely memed, which I love. I absolutely love. Everyone was like, I remember someone put in there like, maybe this guy didn't want to be like put on blast for this, and then someone was like, nah, he'll fucking love it, and I fucking loved it.
That was me, actually.
That was between
that was
you
me.
and Marshall. Marshall Strong put that up in there too, and I was like, yeah. You sure fucking right, homie. So I had a field day yesterday, obviously, to everyone else's detriment. Or it was like so split. There's so many people that are like, this is funny, and there's some people who are like, oh, you're a fucking dick. So gear requirements up north. What are y'all wearing?
I mean, pretty standard stuff, right? Like no exposed skin. Like
So
uh
can you wear tights though?
yes, and I actually have but I don't anymore, partially because they're just not padded enough. I don't get hit in the leg often, but I took a real zinger from my buddy Joel Overly. Shout out EGF.
Do you guys have an excessive force rule?
I think they have some kind of general excessive force requirements they're trying to put down. We're still working on, like, I'm trying to be diplomatic here. Like the experience level of the Midwest, of the upper Midwest, is still kind of growing, if I'm honest, because there are like we if you look at HEMA ratings, okay, which again they're only like so valid in my opinion because like there's a lot of reasons
I have
why.
like 3 HEMA scorecards because I use fake names at tournaments.
There
So
you go. But if you look at the upper Midwest, most of the fighters, and this is true for probably most regions, are in an island, right? That's the thing that I actually pay attention to is like, okay, who are you actually fencing, right? I don't care so much like what your actual rating and number is, and I know I've leveraged that. In fact, I leveraged it yesterday trolling somebody, and they got real mad about it. But
good job.
no, it was shitty of me. But like what I do look at is like who are you beating? You know, what's your win loss, right? Like that's what I'm really looking at. I'm not really looking at like, okay, how many wins do you have under your belt? If you've got like 200 wins and 180 losses, then I'm like, okay, you know. But if you've got 200 wins and like 40 losses, then okay, you probably are really knowing what you're doing.
So we had tiers at Raleigh. I was in tier A longsword because I managed to get 8th last year off my first Raleigh, which was also my second tournament.
Sure.
So I ended up in tier A this year, which was kind of the funniest shit because it's like this dude's wearing short shorts in fucking tier A. like who is
Risky,
this? Whose
risky
man
business.
is this? Like, yeah, and I had to
Yeah.
fight some fucking killers, and everyone's like, well, psychologically, you're fucking with your opponent. I told them to hit me in the fucking leg. They were all for it. Like, I'm not saying everyone down here is a bloodthirsty savage because they're really not.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people that love the
Yeah.
excessive force rule and stuff. We have a lot of light fencers and a lot of like I don't give a
Sure.
fuck fencers, right? It's a mixed bag. So like
Yeah.
going into it, all my homies were like I'd like my homies would hit me in the leg and be like, my fault, and I'd be like, nah, that was cool, do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a Shark Tank. Yeah, it was exhausting, but I had a I had a okay I had a okay time. I had an okay time, right? I was shitting out. If anything, all my fights were very quality. Besides the
Okay.
part where I'm gassing out at the end of them, but um, and it didn't hit awfully hard. I know there's a handful of fencers that did hit hard,
Yeah.
but I didn't have to fight. Honestly, it was one dude that everyone bitched about, but I didn't have to fight that one dude, so I was
Yeah.
like lucky. And even if I did, I'm not gonna bitch about it as hard as most
Sure.
people would. A lot of people were upset because there's the excessive force rule and it wasn't like enforced a whole lot. Like that guy
Sure.
injured a few people, which by Raleigh Open standards, a lot of people felt like that dude should have been carded or even
Yeah.
red carded from the event. You know what I mean? So that's one of those things where it's like tournament organizer has to kind of beef up. You know what I mean? Or at least a tournament. Because I ran a tournament. Did you see my combat longsword?
I didn't yet. I'd be down to watch some of that.
So we had an accident because of the space. Longsword ended up being way more hard hitting, which was hilarious because I tried to write that so that it wouldn't be, so everyone
Sure.
could do longsword. and then combat longsword was gonna be like this little thing, but everyone dropped after longsword, and so we had like a handful of people. We're in this little space. I gave them a wall to grapple on, and then they don't, and it ended really bad. Someone initiated a grappler at a grapple next to the concrete pillar. Everyone thought it was the mirror, but no, it was worse. It was the fucking pillar. And this dude had on a Wakuzi Cobra, and it really did save him. And I was like, thank God for insurance, right? So I report everything to insurance over, and like,
Yeah.
cool, whatever. Nothing crazy happened. Dude had a bloody nose from his bever, right? So we're gonna try to run that in a ring next time, in a ring or a cage, and planning on. Honestly, I don't think the rule set for it was bad. It does allow for a little heavier hitting, but I don't think I'm going to run it as a tourney. And I feel like people are going to hate this, but I'm going to run it as like cards. Height, weight, 2 guys go in their fight. I feel like it's fair, If people want to come, sign up for this. It's like, all right, maybe I'll put like 10 fights together, 3 to 5 rounds. I don't know, depending on whatever the fuck.
Honestly, I would say that for a lot of reasons, that sort of like I'm gonna address a few things of what you were saying. Just
go ahead,
back
rant.
to the safety stuff, but later. But I do want to say that like organizing fights like that, honestly, there's a little bit of merit to it because it. Even though continuous fencing doesn't really work for what we're doing, because we're basically playing point karate. Like let's be honest, that's what it is.
Oh, it'll still have its breaks and everything. It's like a continuous fencing format, but that's just for like the endurance of it, right?
Yeah.
It's more exhausting. It's supposed to be an endurance-based thing, and
Sure.
that's how longsword ran too. Like 2-minute rounds. If you tied, you fought another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Endurance-based, a lot of exchanges, a lot more for the judges to see.
Sure.
And, our rule set's like we're simulating a sword fight. If I cut your fucking hand off and you smack me in the face with your sword, you didn't. You know what I mean?
Sure. And so like what I was going to say, though, is that honestly, that's a little more, depending on the quality of the fencing, that can be a lot better for viewership, right? Like for watching any other art, right? Even just straight jiu-jitsu or submission grappling that gets the most hate, for being low audience engagement.
Yeah. It's
right?
like, oh, this dude's stuck in fucking mount for 30 minutes.
Right, but like even that, it's like clear who's winning. You know what I mean? Like I could get somebody, and I've done this. Like I actually I've gone on a date with someone where I was like, oh, just meet me at the at the local Naga tournament at the Y.
Meet me at the local Naga at the Y. Dude, have you competed in jiu-jitsu?
Not yet. I think I'm going to next year.
Yeah. I've been a white belt my whole life. White belt my whole life. I refuse. Oh, I ranked when I was a kid, but then it just like reset. Was like, nah, fuck a belt. But maybe I will in judo. You know what I mean? But that's fucking hilarious. Fucking date at the Naga. All right, I gotta ask. How did the date at the Naga tournament at the Y go?
Actually, really great. It was really great.
Fuck yeah.
And I was just like explaining to them what was happening, and they were just, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And after like 2 minutes, they're able to tell who's winning.
It's pretty intuitive. I mean,
right.
Especially barehanded stuff. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, oh god, that guy's on top, right? What kills people is when they see guard and they don't understand the dude in guards and bottoms winning.
Right. Or, but like what I'm saying about that though is that like that begs the question. Okay, why isn't historical fencing like that?
That's a good question. It needs to be like that.
Right. It should be clear to the audience who's winning. Right? Because that's not just for yourself. That's also for like, if you got judges, it is also for yourself because, if it's clear who's winning because your actions are crisp and precise, you're not flailing around. You're not like just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. That's really where we're going to start seeing people actually pay attention to what we're doing. And it's not just like, oh, we both doubled or, threw open hitters towards each other and just it's
people. I feel like one doubles will fuck it up. but but
Yeah.
after a while of like making it look good and publishing it, kind of like how I did all of Midlands, right? um, Publishing it and just like letting it run, see the event. Once more people, especially if we like mainstream HEMA, however,
Yeah.
I mean, like, do we want to mainstream HEMA? I don't know. I just want to put HEMA up and talk about it. But if I could get it out to more people, get them interested, hell yeah. But I would want them to see a match and be like, oh shit, they doubled out without a judge having to say it or something. So I'm thinking of
Right.
for Midlands, with the camera person, maybe try to figure out how I can mic it up. I might mic up a table. Yeah, I'll probably record the whole fucking thing and like have a 4-way mic system or something. I don't know. I can figure it out. I'm smart enough, probably. But
That's a cool idea.
But I have already in my idea, like my editor, funny guy, an MMA guy, and then a sword guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you got funny guy in the middle, you've got sword guy over here, you got fighter guy over here. It's gonna be fucking lit. Because what happens if someone rips an armbar? Because combat longsword, an armbar is like an epone.
Right.
Yeah, it ends it. Because if you suck bad enough to get armbarred, like you deserve to lose the match.
Yeah, I mean,
that was my whole justification with it. It's like if you get armbarred, you're fucking out. That's lame. Like,
yeah. If you let a guy Imanari roll on you and you got a longsword, what were you doing?
You done fucked up. Like, you done fucked up. I think the only thing I allowed was knee bars and arm bars. And knee bars, you're like, oh shit, my leg's going backwards. Arm bars, like, oh shit, I'm in an arm bar. Most people know what it is. And for everyone I selected for the tournament, they had been training for it. They had experience in everything else. If someone signed up and was a wet noodle, I was like, no. Like, fuck, no. Like, it's not happening. You gotta be selective sometimes, because you don't want someone to come in there and, like, ruin the fun. And I know that sounds fucked up, but it's like, I don't see the brackets or anything. It's, like, literally in order of who signed up. So, like, if you and your buddy sign up at the same time, you're in pool 1. Like, you're screwed.
I think, I would probably enjoy something like that, knowing what I'm signed up for. I think generally, though, like, that's not necessarily the fencing that I want to do. But that sounds like
it's
a good
definitely
game.
Different. Yeah. It's a game that I made to appeal to certain people that wanted to play it, you know. And then I had Longsword Open as a, hey, you can come and do Longsword Open. And people left a little bruised up from that one, and I was like, all right, we're rewriting the excessive force rule, because I didn't write it right, apparently. But I mean, I pretty much took Raleigh Open's rule set. I had a judge from Raleigh do it. And he kicked ass. And then I had a judge from Swordwind do it, and he kicked ass for Combat Longsword. I wanted a harsher judge for Combat Longsword, so I chose like a rules stickler. You know what I mean? And he did his job great. For Longsword, I honestly, and I guess it's because I'm used to fighting a little harder, but there were two guys going at it that knew each other, and it was clearly like a mutual escalation of force. And everyone's like, "This is hitting hard as fuck," and I'm sitting here in the corner like, "Is it?" You know? So I let everyone else make that call there, but I was like, I think they're cool. I think it's cool, but not everyone. That's not what I wanted Longsword to be. Not everyone's gonna be cool with that at the end of the day. We had someone come out to that shit, and it was their first tournament, and they got red carded by the end of it. I mean, dude, we saw fucking I saw a cross guard fly a couple times, and was like, ooh. I was like, yo. Like, he got card. I was like, oh shit, you know. See, and then he actually went to tournaments. I went to more tournaments with him. Guy doesn't get cards. I guess it's just the nerves and intensity of Midlands was enough to make him fucking suck, go ape shit.
And you know, how am I gonna put this? It's this weird thing, right? Like, I of course believe that we should have mutually agreed upon, safety constraints, like for gear and stuff like that, right? I also am of the opinion that people who are very highly skilled, right, and this is my hot take, people who are very highly skilled should be able to fence each other in basically a mask and a super light jacket, maybe gloves, right?
Agree 110%. I used to fence longsword without a shirt with the homie, though.
And see, so that's, for me, that's pushing it, right? I think there's like, but if you have like respect for the person that you're fencing, right, that changes the dynamic enough where you're working with
Me
each
and
other to
dude
safely.
been
Right.
going at it for years, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey man. Well, honestly, in the beginning, I kind of didn't wear one anyway, but we had SEA shit going on, so it was like, whatever. If it snaps, it snaps. I was also young and stupid. Like, I don't think I want to do shirtless longsword ever again, but for, like,
Yeah.
special occasions, you know? Because it is fun. It
Yeah.
is fun. I enjoy it, and I understand the risk I take going into it.
Sure.
And I think as long as, like, consenting adults consent and know what they're
Yep.
getting into, that's beautiful. Like, with Midlands, I asked everyone, do we know the rules? Yep. Do you see what space you're in? Yep. You see the padded wall? Yep. All right. I'm going to say everything over again, right? Because I want everyone to be like, in. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's caught on video in the original longsword tournament, but I was like, if you're not on the same page, fucking leave. Like, just fucking leave. I didn't give a fuck.
Sure.
You know? Like, come in, sit down, chill out. The tournament's going to start. I'm going to say my piece. If you ain't with it, please leave. I don't need to deal with you.
Sure. Sure.
But, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
everything.
It's got to be a cultural thing, right? So but just going to that like safety aspect, right? So I mentioned in our Facebook thread, or one of them, so a friend of mine who's wearing sparring gloves, the split hoof, and he wasn't wearing gloves underneath, and I'm just sitting there in the weakest plow ever, okay, or like short and long point. I don't even know what I was doing uh, specifically, but he threw a bad cut with his hands coming forward, right? And I just literally went boop, like I'm not even kidding. There was nothing behind it. I didn't put my body
He's wearing
behind it.
sparring gloves like this, right?
Yep.
Same thing happened down here, bro.
But
not in my club.
It went through this part of his hand, right?
Oh.
So it wasn't like here.
That's where Homeboys was here.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I didn't know he didn't have an underglove on. And at the time, like the whole club that I was at was using untipped, unspatulated fetters, and I had no idea how dangerous that was, right?
Those things fucking hurt, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
even
it gave him like 5
white
stitches.
tips. Oh, 5. So, dude had I don't really know. He has like a little gnarly scar, but his shit was split down the middle. And that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you should have had on a fucking under glove, dude.
Sure.
That's one of those things. I fully knew going into Raleigh with the whole thighs thing. I was like, yeah, if I get caught in the thighs and get sliced open, it's cool, whatever. Like, I was like, sure. I'm okay with it. Everyone else here's, from everyone I talked to, I mean, that was an aggressive pull. There's probably a handful of people that would have been like, oh, a little poo butt about it. But I was like, dude, don't feel bad. I'm literally being an idiot. Win. Like, we're out here to have fun. Win.
The thing is, though, is that, like, see, I can't get behind that much, like, disregard for it. You know what I mean? Because, like,
I get what you mean. It's not for everyone. I treat this shit a little bit like skate culture. You ever seen Hall of Meat, bro?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm from California, man.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not saying we have to have a HEMA Hall of Meat, but I'm not saying that
we used to.
I mean, yeah, we fucking used to, but, like,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be that. But, like, if I get fucked up, I'm like, I fucking made it through the tournament, or I didn't, or I dropped, whatever. It's cool. Sure. I came and I had fun, and I know what I like doing at the end of the day. It's whatever. I don't get cards no more. I'm gonna do this. I don't do that. I like to go to grappling comps now. That's kind of my thing after the judo comp. I want to get back in there. I want to do like a little no-gi BJJ.
Nice. But another thing I was gonna say, so like, I forgot about this one. I had a student that I kept telling him, "Hey, you need to tip your rapiers." These were like Castile rapiers, right?
Always with a Castile rapier, especially always.
And they come with those like really narrow points, and even though they're blunt, they're just so narrow and they're not spatulated. I told him, "Hey, man, you need to tip those rapiers. You need to tip those rapiers." He kept ignoring me. Right, or like forgetting to be like, oh, okay, I'll do it, or whatever. And he did a stop thrust on a dude, and the the guy was wearing a fairly heavy jacket, but it didn't pierce the jacket, but it went under his armpit, and it actually pierced through his flesh. So it pushed the jacket into his flesh.
Fuck. Oh God. So
right. So
that's
even
so strange. What's funny is like I'll sit here and do this shit that everyone's like, that's stupid. And I don't have horror stories like this at all. Like, I've thrown luck, a sword.
Man. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what everyone was trying to say. Is this luck?
A lot of people say it's luck, and then at the same time too is we don't hit hard. But I'm curious about this. So like, this guy goes and he does that, and then he does that to someone. What's this dude's punishment?
I kicked him out.
You kicked him out?
Eventually, it came to that. Like, it wasn't immediately after that, but it did come to that, because it was like, okay, I asked you like 40 times to tip that fucking rapier.
So you only so I think that's the difference here. Is like, after the first time him not doing it, he would have done push-ups till I got tired. That's how I run my club.
Yeah.
Now, that's because I was raised in a martial arts setting, raised in a martial arts setting my whole life, and I like, who am I to be giving out punishment? But at the same time, like, people going too fast in class. So I had a guy that was hitting too hard.
Yeah.
I made him do 100 zorks on the bag as fast as he could without moving the bag or making noise. That dude sat on the bag all class, and then I let him spar again, and he was cool.
Yeah, actually, I really like that. That's a good training tool.
People going too fast or hitting too hard or just not fucking respecting you. 50 push-ups. Don't do 25. Do fucking 50. Always 50. That's the baseline. You scale up from 50, right? And if they've really fucked up, push-ups till you get tired. All right, till you get tired. That's what I
get tired sitting there. Yeah. It's gonna be a long time before I get tired.
I think just the whole thing with HEMA is like we lack a lot of tradition. We lack a lot of discipline, and in some cases respect.
Sure. Yeah. Respect for the weapon, respect for each other. It's kind of a problem. And I know, like, there's going to be some clubs that probably hear this, or people from some clubs that hear this and be like, oh, we don't have those problems. You guys are just knuckleheads or whatever. It's like,
knuckleheads.
It's like, no, like, a lot of it is because of most HEMA clubs are basically just an unsupervised latchkey kid that grew up, right?
Ooh, that's the best fucking... I think we found some common ground here, dude. Hold on a minute. You feel what I'm feeling? All right.
Were you also an unsupervised latchkey kid?
Kind of, dude. I don't. Yeah. So I was just a badass kid growing up. Like, my whole thing when I fell out of martial arts was like, I'm in high school selling drugs, like fucking up. Like, like I was just a badass kid in general. But I've had my fair share of martial journey where I know, like, hey man, you can't be a dick to nobody, not especially your instructor. Like, there's got to be someone commanding authority and respect, right? That's what HEMA lacks in a lot of places. And you know what? This is a very interesting thing too. They lack like a team structure. And I guess that I give my club that because I came from Bohurt and there's nothing but a team structure. Right. But when you look into things and you're like looking at our clubs, I saw a club from Philly come down and they split like 4 ways across the field. And I was like, do y'all fucking hate each other? Y'all not like each other? Like, what the fuck? And they're all like, and it's because they're in like different tiers or whatever. I don't know. Something stupid. I'm just sitting there like, that's your fucking people. Like, I get that I can't always be attentive to my people because a lot of people want to talk to me. And I got to make the videos. I got to do this and I got to do that. But, like, if someone needs me, I'm off to the side, taping up somebody's fucking fucked knee, doing this, doing that. Right. And I'm just, you got to be there for your folks, and you got to be in charge sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I've had students come in the door. So I used to run these workouts in this hot-ass MMA gym. And, I have a student named Dick Wizard. He's actually the one right before you on the podcast. I had him come over at like 4 a.m. and we just like edited all night. Dick Wizard came in, absolute Redditor. Like, this kid needed some character development and he kept coming to class and he got it. This kid came in, all he read was George Silver, talked shit about the Italians, we wreck this kid and make him puke in a workout. So he comes in, does the workout, right, and then we go to do sword class, and we're doing sword class, and by a couple weeks we have him sparring with synthetics, and we're like, your silver sucks. Stop even trying. But like from day one, he wouldn't shut the fuck up. It's like push-ups.
Yeah.
Over time, this kid's a great fencer now. Like this kid's out. You ever
Awesome.
seen that meme? It's like silence fencer who knows Meister How and good footwork. A hand sniper is talking. That's this kid. That's absolutely this kid, right?
Nice.
He's cool as fuck. He's cool as fuck, and he likes to throw down with some grappling. He's a little leg locker, like.
Nice.
So yeah, I've had like a lot of students that come in the door and everyone's like, well, we're unsure about them, and I'm like, wait, let it transform them,
Yeah.
right? This should be a transformative journey, and it's hard to like give that to everyone all the time, but I feel so good when I can bring someone in and be like, hey, this is how you should be, and then they just like grow into this. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful process to watch people grow. I'm like, like it's
Yeah.
so emotional, especially as an instructor.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad you mentioned those things. Those are honestly like really mature things to be thinking about and looking for, right? Like that's really what it's all about. Um,
I don't want to kick people out at the end of the day. They
yeah.
wanted to come and do this thing, and some of them are socially awkward, nerdy, whatever. I want nerds to come into the door, and I want them to leave with confidence, and I want them to come
Yeah.
back, right? Even if you're an asshole in the beginning, first impressions are everything. Don't get me wrong. But if you're an asshole in the beginning, I'm gonna be like, hey man, you can't be an asshole here. I'm gonna need some push-ups for that behavior. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can't
Yeah.
do that. That's
Yeah.
but that's the difference between like my club and every other club here in the southeast.
Right.
Kind of like you said, is like a lot of clubs are like an unsupervised study group, and while there's instructors and they run classes and stuff like this, there's only a handful of clubs and people where I can sit down and look at them and go, yeah, you're doing it right. You know what I mean? And even then, I tell people that I like give out like punishment like that, and they're like, huh? I'm like, nah, it works. Try it.
Yeah.
I had an incident with one of my guys at Raleigh where he was running his mouth a little, right?
Sure.
He was saying some shit he shouldn't have said, and dude, I had coaching him waltz over me like, get your boy, and I was like, okay. My boy's talking to like 2-5 people, somewhere between that range. There's a lot of people around him. I snatch his ass up by the collar, bring him over to his daddy. And I'm like, hey man, tell your dad what you just did and do some fucking push-ups. And I went outside and smoked a cigarette with his dad. I'm like, that boy ain't right. That boy. But at the end of the day, it was cool. He had fun. He's a little hard
Yeah.
on himself because he was fifth, and so he's like one placement away from like fighting a finals
Yeah.
match, in Tier C. It was like his first Raleigh, but he was like seventh at Queens. Kids lovely, but some people just need shaping up. I needed
Sure.
shaping up.
Same.
So, and I got it. I got the shit kicked out of me though. So like my guys get it so easy, but like I'm doing push-ups and I'm looking over, and a homeboy's getting kicked in the ribs by Sensei, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do push-ups a lot fucking harder. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. Nothing too crazy, but enough where I'm like, oh fuck, that's for real. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, I actually like what you mentioned about tradition too, right? Like that's where a lot of that uh comes from or would come from, right? We don't have in most cases, like there's still some clubs that are living lineages and stuff like that.
which is
Um
beautiful.
right.
That's really something
Yeah,
special.
right. But overall, like there isn't the same culture of like, tradition and um expectations for people, you know. And that was one of yeah.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that sort of shocked me when I started going to jujitsu and started helping me shape up, right? Because so I probably one of the best things that ever happened to me at jujitsu was being told to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Yeah, getting told to shut
yeah,
the fuck up feels it's different.
yeah,
Thank God you just didn't get the shit slapped out of you, right?
right. No, yeah, yeah. And so the story behind that is like I was just trying to help a new person like learn the move that we were learning, right? And my coach came up. He's like, "Hey, do you know this move?" And I was like, well, I was just helping him learn it, you know. He's like, why the fuck are you coaching? And I was like,
Yeah. I've had a couple moments where I've almost been
yeah,
like that, but my guys are legitimately good as fuck, and they give me a hard
yeah,
time. So
yeah,
like with the boy that I had to snatch up by the collar, right? He'll do that sometimes. Right when
yeah,
I'm like going in the middle of the teach, and every now and then I'm like, hey dude, fucking go over there real quick. And if it happens again, I think I'll use the shut the fuck up. I like that.
yeah,
That's beautiful right there.
right.
those are
And
those are some moving words.
yeah, no, it made me go like, oh yeah, you know, my attitude was not right there, you know. And I've
Yeah.
had students like that too. I've had students come in, they get kind of good at something, and then they're immediately trying to tell like the girl next to them how to do it, right?
Oh, I mean
And it's
it's
like,
fucking
nah, man,
awful. That's awful right there. Immediately like
exactly,
mansplaining the fucking move. Like, come
right,
on, dude. Like,
right. And you know, I've had, you know, I'm not going to name names, but I had that recently happen with someone who visited from one of the other clubs in town, where you know they showed up, um, didn't do the drills the way that I was telling people to do them, you know, breaking the game, and then like tried to offer all sorts of, you know, unsolicited advice, critique, all this other nonsense.
I
I beat their ass.
yeah. Yeah. I have a buddy, it's
It
funny.
is what it is.
It's so funny. I went and trained with Marshall Strong once, and I went to train with him so he could help me get better. And the whole
Sure.
time we're sitting there, he's fighting. He's like, hey man, not to give you unsolicited advice. I'm like, motherfucker, I came here for unsolicited advice. You
Yeah.
know, it was chill, but it's like, yeah, uh,
Yeah.
some people are
Yeah.
they get ahead about themselves sometimes. But I try to keep my group a mix of like hierarchy, brotherhood, and a study group. I read
Sure.
that somewhere. I watched a bunch of
Yeah.
videos on business and shit, and running a martial arts school and a HEMA
Yeah.
club especially. I'm probably directly quoting like some YouTube video out there from like
Sure.
way back. But
Yeah.
it's the shit that spoke to me because I was like, yeah, this sounds like traditional martial arts to me.
Right.
This sounds like a belt system to me. You know, like that is what it is. You know, it's nothing
Yeah,
to trip over.
and honestly, like, so a little bit about, you know, my own experience with that is the club that I took over. It was because, uh, like, it just kind of got to that point where I was like, okay, I could either, uh, I could teach you, I could just teach you guys full time and do this for my job. And my club was like, yes, let's do it. Um, so you know, blessings on them. Like they really got me off the ground. Um, the thing that I wanted to say though is that like uh, when I started, it was a lot more anarchistic, right? Like the guy,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, and that had some great benefits to it. It had some really,
Anarchy Hemo's dope.
yeah,
Anarchy Hemo's pretty dope.
yeah, and that had some excellent benefits to it. But it was like that once that line crossed to where it was actually a business, that's when it just didn't work that way anymore, and
I
there
feel
had to be
that,
someone in
man.
charge.
I feel
Yeah.
that. So much changed since I was like, all right, we're an LLC. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I was like, oh,
Yep.
that's a big word. That's not well. That's a big acronym. Limited liability company. That's like,
Yeah.
whoo. You know what I mean? I've got an EIN number, bro. Like, I'm scared at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's nuts. They're like, what is all this money on swords and shit going towards? Nah, I remember one time I ordered some armor from Russia right before the war broke out.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my bank was mad. The fucking IRS was upset. I was like, oh.
Whoa.
I was like, yo, it's fucking armor, bro. He had me
That's
send
wild.
it like in a sketchy ass way or something. I don't remember. I think I used PayPal once. I used like this random app once, and my
Yeah.
bank was like, you can't do that. And I was like, actually, motherfucker, I can. And they never. I remember I went into the bank to open up my business account with my EIN number. And they were like, "Oh, you're the motherfucker that ordered all that shit from Russia." And I was like, "Yeah, you're the motherfucker that gave me a hard time about it." They called me and they're like, "What did you send $1,500 to Russia for?" And I'm like, goods and services. Like, it's none of your fucking business. It's literally what I'm telling them on the phone. Like, it is none of your fucking business what I did.
Right.
And they're like, but you can't do that. I'm like, where does it say I can't do that? Because I didn't do that. PayPal did that. Like, you know, so they were pretty shitty with me, but they actually helped me out. So, like, shout out my bank for sending me to my insurance company. Or they sent me to some dudes that have, like, a broker that, like, looks everywhere for insurance. Because FL Dean turned me down for SEA heavy shit that wasn't even us. Because I had SEA heavy in a video with me. They're like, the axes. And I'm like, they're made of foam. And it's not even us. Like, you're a bunch of assholes. You know what I mean? And they're like,
yeah, they got really freaked out.
They got really freaked out. Yeah, I went to apply right when that fucking accident happened or whatever. Oregon accident.
Yep. That's what I was gonna mention. The Oregon thing.
Can enlighten me a little.
So from what I understand, that was like a situation where the instructor was using like a second class attendee or something like that. Somebody who's just super noob, like fresh out of the box, brand new student, to demonstrate something that involved a thrust or something like that. And the person wasn't wearing a mask, and they also, I think, not to be like, oh, they shouldn't have done this or whatever, but I from what I understand of the incident, the demonstrator, the uke, right, went forward onto the point in like a really shouldn't have done that way, but it went through their eye, hit their brain.
Yeah. Was that a fatality?
No, but it was close. Like the guy got a stroke on the spot.
Someone told me the dude fucking died.
No, he didn't die, but
that got telephoned like a motherfucker. Holy shit. Okay. That's scary as fuck.
He got a stroke. His balance is fucked up forever. He lost that eye, of course, and then the like it's just it really messed that guy's life up, and
that's
it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll run drills without masks, which after the Oregon incident I was like, ooh, But so for me, I grew up doing that for years. There's a level of control and respect that you have to have for the sword and how much damage it can do to you and your partner, So that's like, they're going too fast on drills, push-ups. Eventually, you make somebody do enough push-ups, they can't go fast. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know why my answer to everything is push-ups, but it's
I'm
worked.
I think it's not the worst answer.
it's worked really fucking well, and I don't know. Someone's got to be the asshole sometimes, right?
Sure.
Someone's got to be that dude sometimes. It's not nice, but it's one of those things. But yes, okay. So dude didn't die. I thought dude fucking died.
He got close.
He got really close. Okay, fuck. Dude, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I hope you get your balance back. Fucking something. I hope a miracle happens to this man, because that. I heard something like the instructor or something was a tool bag anyway.
I have no idea. I don't know or remember who it was at this point. I'm imagining.
Yeah.
I'm imagining there's stuff going around about him. I would hate to be in that position. I try really hard not to be in that position, You
guys use like HEMA Alliance for your insurance?
No, we're gonna be going through sports insurance actually.
Cool. Hell yeah. Yeah. Shit can get pricey sometimes. I don't even know who my insurance people are because I don't talk to them. I talk to like the third party, and they're like, "Here's what it says." I'm like, "Cool."
Sure. It might be.
This is what I pay them money for, So
yeah.
It's like whatever, So for Midlands Madness, that was $500 for a 3-day tournament. It's not bad. It's really not bad at all. And then I'm probably gonna pay sub 200 hopefully for the shorts tournament. I've already given them a call, and well, I don't think they've called me, but nah, they ain't called me. Damn, they need to. They'll probably call me like next week. I was like, "Hey, is Gavin in?" They're like, "No." But I'm hoping I'm hoping people can keep their insurance and understand at the same time, like, not everyone has the same insurance, because I know there's the big thing with me right now is everyone's like, you're gonna get our insurance taken away.
Sure.
And I was like, how? I ran a tournament that was barefooted and didn't require fucking pants. It went fine, you know. It could have not went fine, but everyone knew that, right? Same thing again. Nothing's changed, right? If someone wears shorts up in the joint, someone's wearing shorts up in the joint.
Sure. I mean, I think it really just comes down to seatbelt, right? Like, you wear your seatbelt because you need it for that one time that you need it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wear my seatbelt for reference before people think I'm anti-safety. All right, I do wear my fucking seatbelt. Right. That's the first thing I do with the car.
That's what it comes down to, right? It's like, you know, you just wear your seatbelt because why risk it, right? So that's really what the whole thing is.
But at the same time, I don't know if everyone needs their seatbelt. Well, everyone needs their seatbelt if they don't want to end up in that potential disaster. But if you come to the conclusion that you're just okay with it, you might be a little fucked up in the head, but respect, right? That's your decision. Because there's a lot of groups that are going to go out there and they're going to spar like that anyways. And if it's not going to happen in a tournament, it can happen in sparring. Oregon incident. That happened demonstrating. That didn't happen in sparring. That happened in a tournament.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. That's where injuries can pile up. And I can speak that for any sport, like jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Like right before I went to Hot Sword Summer and right after the judo comp, so in between I had like a week, right? Right there, I popped a rib. And I was like, oh, okay. Fuck me. I had to fight on this fucking rib in like a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was, right? But it was like cartilage pop from sternum and rib right there. I got put in a can opener and didn't tap because I didn't feel it until I felt it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those scary things. But it's like I knew that getting in the can opener. I was like, all right, this could go awful if I don't tap. But I don't. But whatever. I'm a real bendy fucker. Like I can just. Like I can curl up, you know. Like I'm a bendy fucker, dude. Hey, the OnlyFans 4005. All proceeds go to Wounded Cyber Warrior Project, whatever the fuck I said on Facebook earlier today. All right, well, so do we have any wrap up thoughts we want to get through here? I gotta get going.
Oh sure. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to actually like talk more fencing on another episode or something.
Yeah.
I've had a good time. I don't agree, you know, with the same safety approach, of course, but like
we don't have to.
I should let you know, like so like daily fencing with my club or people that I trust, people that I fence a lot with, high level fencing training partners.
Yeah.
I wear a super light jacket, man. And when I say super light,
so does my buddy Connor. Yeah.
I'm wearing one that my coach designed. That's actually a wrestling jacket, right?
Nice.
I'm gonna get a thicker version, like a slightly thicker version, right? I'm talking like the difference between 2 and 4 ply, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm in a cabinet shop. I get it.
Yeah, my jacket is really light. Like it is barely thicker than like
Spez AP light, or you said it was made.
No, it's made by Historica Clothing.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They're affiliated with Spez, right?
No, they're not.
They're not. That's right. I met them at Queens last year, and they were selling ringing jackets, and I wasn't about to pay that much for them.
Was it a bald guy with glasses?
That sounds like half of the dudes in HEMA.
Well, okay,
That's so probably.
But that was probably my coach James.
It probably was. I don't know. Show him a picture of me.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be like, yeah, I thought that, dude.
So I'm using one of his ringing jackets to fence in most of the time, and
cool.
Hard elbow and gloves. Right.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I like it because it's super light. You know, do thrusts suck with it? Yeah, I wear a plastic underneath it.
I
wear my Bourget.
I don't wear a plastron.
But I only wear it because it's like, you know, it's barely thicker than a t-shirt.
Right? I wore it after I got hit in the ribs at Hot Sword Summer because I'd already had tender ribs, and then I got hit, and I was like, I had to fight the bracket, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw this shit on real quick and get to myself.
Like, basically, for me, right? For me, I would say my closing thought is like low gear, even fairly intense sparring can happen, but it's really got to hinge on respect for your training partner and knowing when to like just be like, this isn't worth it, right? And
Yeah.
that's really the thing is like winning can't be the thing you're going for when you're fencing like that. It can't be like the ultimate goal, because if that's your ultimate goal, then that introduces like so much more chaos
Yeah.
than your gear can account for, right?
Agree.
I guess that's what I would say, and that's where
No.
my approach is for that.
And dude, I 110% agree with you.
Yeah.
110%. I like everything you just said is straight facts, right? At the end of the day, my closing thoughts are that's how Short Shorts Open is going to be ran. It's going to be a bunch of people that kind of know each other that are cool, and they're going to come and fight. And they might wallop each other a few times, whatever. It's going to be a self-call tournament, so it's going to be like, hey, man, that might have been a little fucked up. All right, you know, tone it back, whatever it is. It's going to be mutual escalation of force there with some limitations, obviously, with the bare skin showing. But, you know, I hope everyone who comes out has a good time. That's all I care about, because it's supposed to be a chill day. I'm going to bring out the grill and try not to blow myself up again with it. That's what I did last time I had the grill out.
Did you get swifty with the propane tank?
Yeah. Yeah, I had the lid down, and I was like, I thought it was an electronic grill or something. I saw the propane, but I figured there's a button, so I turned it on high. And me and my buddy are looking at it like, hey, man, what's going on here? I think you're supposed to light it here. Boom! And I was like, oh, shit, did we die? Oh, we didn't die. My eyelids aren't melted, just my eyelashes are crispy. Okay, cool. I'm, like, laughing hysterically for 15 minutes, and poor Sean is like a fucked up Vietnam War veteran for the rest of the day. So it was like I cooked it, he lit it. It was bad. It was good fun, but I saw God.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much. Oh, what do you want me to call you by again? Arcadia?
Arcadia is good, yeah.
Arcadia? Well, thank you, Arcadia, for coming on today. I really enjoyed it. It was so worth the Facebook beef. Like,
yeah.
I had a lot
Let's
of fun.
do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Let's actually talk some fencing. Something we could do, if you want, like we could video review some of like my fencing or whatever, and we can go over it and just I can talk about my style.
Yeah, I mean, I had to figure that out.
Yeah.
Technology, right? I could probably figure it out. We'll see.
I think I can figure out how to screen share this time.
I think if you screen shared it, it'd be easier. Because I don't know if I can OBS and screen share without my PC taking a shit, but
oh sure, yeah.
It's like a double screen share situation.
Next time I'll screen share, and then you can handle the recording end. Obviously, that's what you're doing. So.
Yeah, and then I can send you whatever I want for you to screen share.
Okay, yeah,
that'd be sick. Yeah, because I'm just recording my desktop right now. But thank you everybody out there for watching this Sword and Board number 5. I hope I didn't fuck that up. I really hope it's number 5. I gotta go record number 6 right now, so I'm gonna go grab my tripod from the studio and head on over there, and you're gonna see me with Clay Thomas. Stay tuned for the next episode.
All right.